Okay, we are in Isaiah chapter 29, verse 11. It says, "The whole vision has become to you like the words of a book that is sealed, which men deliver to one who is literate, saying, 'Read this, please.' And he says, 'I cannot, for it is sealed.' Then the book is delivered to one who is illiterate, saying, 'Read this, please.' And he says, 'I am not literate.' Therefore, Yahweh says, 'Inasmuch as these people draw near with their mouths and honor me with their lips, but have removed their hearts far from me, and their fear toward me is taught by the commandment of men. Therefore, behold, I will again do a marvelous work among these people, a marvelous work and a wonder. For wisdom of their wise men shall perish, and the understanding of their prudent men shall be hidden. Woe to those who seek to hide their counsel from Yahweh, and their works are in the dark. And they say, 'Who sees us, and who knows us?' Surely you have things turned around. Shall the potter be esteemed as the clay? For shall the thing made say of him who made it, 'He did not make me'? Or shall the thing formed say of him who formed it, 'He has no understanding'? It is not yet a very little while till Lebanon shall be turned into a fruitful field, and the fruitful field be esteemed as a forest. In that day a death shall hear the words of the book. The deaf shall hear the words of the book, and the eyes of the blind shall see out of obscurity and out of darkness. The humble shall increase their joy in Yahweh, and the poor among men shall rejoice in the Holy One of Israel, for the terrible one is brought to nothing. The scornful one is consumed, and all who watch for iniquity are cut off, who make a man an offender by a word, and lay a snare for him who removes in the gate, and turn aside the just by empty words. Shalom, shalom. Call on Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakak Wadash. Call on Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakak Wadash. Giving all praises to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakak Wadash, the great Ali Shaddai of Israel, the great I am, the possessor of heaven and earth, of the spirits of heaven and earth, and giving much respect to his only begotten Son, the Adonai, Yahweh Shai, the Muhammad Shiach, or Yahweh Shai, the Adonai, the Muhammad Shiach, the light of this world, the one who died for Israel and rose to sit to become his father's royal right arm, my reliever, my comforter, and my salvation, and the only one that plead his blood over Israel, the only nation granted for salvation. Hallelujah. And giving much respect to great millstone, the high apostles and their brothers that I follow, the only church that I listen to, who give me the spiritual wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, to help me hopefully be preserved, and to be prepared for these times ahead of us. Giving much respect to the Akim, the brothers that's in the word. You may not be from Great Millstone, but you still go to the highways and byways. You still listen to their videos, and attend to their churches, and you as well as bring it out at home. Shalom to those beautiful brothers. You risk your freedom and your life to do so, just as well as Great Millstone. Shalom to the Akwath, the beautiful women that's in the truth. Regardless if you got a man or not, you still fear the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh, and you listen and you learn in silence. Coming back at you with another episode, and we got a couple of videos, Jacob and his BS, and a couple of dire warnings that are coming to head, and the exposure of some church, but that's fulfilling prophecy, like the Most High say. So we can go back to the top. One of the scriptures that I want to show you. There are two scriptures that actually mean a lot. It says, "The whole vision has become to you like the words of a book that is sealed, which men deliver to one who is literate, saying, 'Read this, please.' And he says, 'I cannot, for it is sealed.' Then the book is delivered to one who is illiterate, saying, 'Read this, please.' And he says, 'I am not literate.' Therefore, Yahweh said, 'Inasmuch as these people draw near with their mouths and honor me with their lips, but have removed their hearts far from me.'" We know heart means mind. That's what it means. Or what are the definitions to it? It says, "And their fear toward me is taught by the commandment of men." There it is. And this is just one of the videos that one of the brothers I put up. of Great Millstone, GMS Narrator 7. And it was one where these people are getting into it with pastors because they getting tired of the pastors making money and taking their tithes and spending it on their luxurious life. These pastors can take the tithes and give it. Well, actually, no. It's so corrupted that they worship other gods. So it's just corruption in a full circle. So it wouldn't even do them no good to donate the money or do anything if they not doing it for Yahweh Shem Al Shai and the name Yahweh Shai, then they shouldn't be doing this at all. You should leave it to the prophets, because pretty soon we're going to figure out what happens to prophets that claim that they are prophets and they not. They false prophets. This is pretty funny, though. And as you can understand, this guy, even though he's blind as hell, you know what I'm saying, they fighting over this white man, Jesus Christ, and this wicked ass doctrine that they done counterfeited from the Bible. He did have some sort of reasoning for it. These pastors, since they got the 501c, meaning that they church is tax free, that if they get the money, you know what I'm saying, and they can get thousands. If they got like 5 million, you know what I'm saying, that money is liable to go anywhere, and they can do anything with the money without the government having to put no investigation on them. So if you look up this documentary called Black Preachers, they give you the whole breakdown of these frauds and these fake ass preachers, you know what I'm saying, that's actually sitting up there making thousands and, well, millions and millions of dollars off tithings and off people, you know what I'm saying, and not putting the money where it's supposed to go, and they do anything what they want with the money. The rumor has it the majority of their churches are women, and then the men are the same as the women, and all they say is that I hope that the money goes where it needs to go when it's not going anywhere but into some greedy ass preachers' pockets. So I did kind of feel him on that part, but still, it's all in vain. He's still doing idol worship. It's still in wickedness, and it's not contributed to Yahweh. And God is not in the churches. He's on the highways and byways, with Great Millstone and the men that follow them. But we can continue watching this video. But, he did have some sense on what he was doing, because them pastors, it says, woe to the shepherd that don't feed the flock. You know what I'm saying? Meaning that it's going to be a terrible, terrible price for you to pay for you over there deceiving the people and leading them astray. And if the blind lead the blind, they shall both fall into a ditch. Meaning that these people, they choose what they want. They idol worship. They like their little parties and how these motherfuckers be crumping in churches and dancing around in churches. And the damn pastor didn't even edify them or educate them. All they do is talk about money, tithings, a small problem in their life here and there. You know what I'm saying? Because they know the power of the Bible. The Bible could be talking about everything that you're going through right then and there. You know what I'm saying? And he can randomly pick and scatter through through the precepts and all of that, and it could still benefit to you in your life. So they bend spirituality. You know what I'm saying? Because they know that the Bible, one part of the Bible is self-improvement. You know what I'm saying? For the Lord Yahweh to understand exactly what you're going through. He sees you every day. So it's not nothing new under the sun. Everything that you're going through been happening for a long time. And the prophets, they can bust down and break down your life right then and there, or they can say something that's through the power and spirit of Yahweh to get you to understand, like, you know what I'm saying? Maybe they are telling truth, maybe they are right. But, and particularly, these ain't the prophets of the Lord. These are false prophets that work with the white people. You got a little thing that the white people used to do in the Willie Lynch letters. It's like they would take a Negro, right? They would take a slave, right? And they would take him and they would make him into a house nigga. And they would also give him a good job and a good role. They would do it to a couple of Negroes, but it would make the other Negroes jealous. You know what I'm saying? And would cause a strife between the two, you know? And the other niggas, and they blindness, they would want to be like the house nigga. You know what I'm saying? So they follow, they be trying to get favoritism from the white man. You know what I'm saying? So this small story also contributes to what they have done. They turned it into another strategy though, but they're doing it with the churches too. So they'd be like, okay, we could care less about what these prophets do. If it's some sort of a fundraiser, or if it's some sort of a just giving out of your heart, or however, you know what I'm saying? We could care less about what they do. We're not even going to investigate and look at it if it's some form of charity. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, they do that, you know what I'm saying? But without our people being educated and being smart, you know what I'm saying, and looking in the past and then looking at the future, looking at the slave trade and how bad they did it with the Willie Lynch letter and the triangular slave trade and the slave trade in the 1600s and the 1700s, they wouldn't understand this. You know what I'm saying? So boom, it's right out of the window. But this is exactly how it's happening. This is exactly what is happening, leading to more and more corruption. And that's foul that the white man would do that, you know. And they would tell him, oh, why don't you investigate these pastors? Why don't you stop these pastors? And all the government can say, if it's a charity, if it's a fundraising, we don't give a shit about it.
Offering at $1,000, and then they said if you don't got $1,000, then do 300.
Did you hear? That shit's funny.
On behalf of the people, and they're not giving back to their community. He's referring to Bishop Wayne T. Jackson, the wealthy pastor that welcomed Donald Trump, drives a Rolls Royce, and lives in a mansion. Zeke was there for the offering Saturday, when they started the offering at $1,000, and then they said if you don't got $1,000, then do 300. If you don't got cash, then we got ATM machines. I don't understand that logic. I don't understand that way of thinking, and I don't understand that to be what religion is. New Era Detroit says the neighborhood surrounding Great Faith Ministries is by and large impoverished. This guy has networks, churches, fancy cars, you know what I mean, $1 million houses, and there's babies in this community that's going without food at night. Somebody has to be frustrated about this enough to do something that will get people's attention, and that's what New Era Detroit did. Here's the thing. Pick up the phone. Call. I want to talk to you, Apostle. Apostle's a very fair man. He would meet with you. He would talk to you. What's your issue? But to do it that way, that is so disrespectful.
But it's not, and at the same time, why does it even matter? Because at the end of the day, he shouldn't have millions and gazillions of dollars. He shouldn't have a jet. He shouldn't have cars. He shouldn't have a Rolls Royce. He shouldn't have his own mansion. They are building off the backs of people's tithings instead of it going to, you know what I'm saying, Yahweh is going to some fat ass black nigga that's greedy and that can care less about the lives and what's going on in the communities of Jake and all the gangbang and all the killing and all the violence. They don't have nothing to do with it, you know. So I do understand where he is coming from when it comes to just pure wickedness. These people are blind and they could care less. They got people sticking up for this nigga and all that. And that's the same thing for Creflo Dollar and for TD Jakes and for Fred Hammond. You know what I'm saying? Fred Hammond is a singer, but at one point in time I thought he was a pastor, but I don't know. I think he like both or whatever. But that's the same thing for these other people. You got other weird ass Jesus Christ worshipers, you know, and Jesus Christ is Serapis Christus, reincarnated. You know what I'm saying, during the Ptolemy Empire. You know what I'm saying? If you read the Apocrypha, you listen to the prophets, and you read history yourself, this is a part of the white man establishing that the white man is God. And we are battling for our rights back in those days. And they're replacing our rights and replacing the things that we would do for Yahweh. We doing it for the white people. So now that's the same thing. And this is all just idol worship. This is all just wickedness. And he shouldn't have the things that he has, but he got them. You know what I'm saying? If that was me and I knew the truth, you know what I'm saying, I would denounce all of that, and I would go back to the Lord. Like, this shit is just wickedness. I know that I'm doing something fucking bad. Like, this is bad what I'm doing to these people. And then not only that, at the end of days, when the doors of repentance about to close, so all these people, they're going to be liable to die. They all going to die.
New Era Detroit has their church and their pastor all wrong. The Christians give away homes, cars. They say he's an astute businessman. Juanita Kinney says he's one with the heart of gold. Found out that I didn't have anywhere to live. Within an hour, he was calling me back, telling me to go and look at an apartment. And because of that, and because of the love from him and his wife, I now have my own place. You should talk to people that he's hired. Ex-cons, people that are in prison. He's done so much work for this community. There are homes that he bought and gave to people.
Yeah, but it's a saying, put in a little to get out a lot. So if you do something here and there for the people, then they will believe, and they will put in more, believing in you. So that is a clear strategy that he's using. You know what I'm saying? So when people do step to him and ask him for something, he's like, okay, I do have a liability to give it. So it's like if they ask for an apartment, give it to him. If they ask for a house, give it to him. And then nobody else will question them. But then you got those of them that'll get up and be like, hey, I don't think what you're doing is right. And what the fuck are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, the things that you're still doing is wicked. So how do you explain for all the stuff that you got? How do you explain this? How do you explain that? People got questions for these wicked ass prophets. People got questions for these wicked ass preachers and shit. You know what I'm saying? And they can't combat it all. You know, they thought that their little strategy, put in a little and get out a lot, will work. When that shit don't work with everybody, everybody ain't stupid. It's not out of jealousy. It's out of just pure investigation. Like, why is he like this? Why is he doing all this? You know what I'm saying? What is the point? Why do you got all this money? Why are you just rich? So these people trying to stick up for him, and that shit don't fly. It don't.
But Zeus don't know that. Many feel New Era Detroit crossed the line and violated a sacred space. They even drew comparisons to Dylan Roof, the man who walked into a church service and gunned down 9 people in Charleston, South Carolina. They can't come in here and think they're going to take over our service, have our women and children, mothers up here terrified. And they're talking about that they are out there protecting the community. This is the community up in here. Hindsight is 2020. Given all this being said, would you do it all over again? Absolutely. We would definitely do it all over again. Will we tweak something? Absolutely. We will probably tweak up a few things and change it, but going back, no. We will definitely go in there again, and they better get their act together because we just might be back.
They want to beat their ass.
Even so, the leader of New Era Detroit says he is open to having a sit-down with Bishop Wayne T. Jackson and the pastors of other churches that New Era Detroit has protested. Stay tuned. You, Darren? Well, Randy, I mean, $1,000 is a lot of money to ask for an offering, but you said about a conversation, but what does the New Era group want the bishop to do, and what do they plan to do if he doesn't?
They're going to whoop his ass.
Well, you heard just in that last soundbite, they may show up here again. We don't know if that's going to happen, but he said that's something that they're definitely open to. But New Era Detroit, they say they want to see churches doing more to better serve and improve the living conditions of the communities in which those churches are.
That's not going to work.
So, this is a story that raises a lot of questions about the function of a church. What does a local congregation owe the community that it's in? And so New Era Detroit, they're definitely raising that issue. They say there are some churches that are doing a good job of this, but in their estimation, there are many that are not. Great Faith Ministries being one of them. It is certainly interesting because we know he's not the only rich preacher out there. So obviously more to come on this one. Thanks, Randy. All right, shalom.
And you know what's the cold part about that whole thing? You know what's the cold part about that whole thing is that when you go to Great Millstone, there are no rich preachers in Great Millstone. The street prophets ain't no rich prophets. They all poor. They all broke. They don't have money. They don't have nothing. They get the titles because they the high apostles, yeah. And I need to start doing my tithings too. I want to, when I get some more money and stuff, and give them the tithings and give them my daily gifts. Doing the best that I can. But as far as I'm concerned, the way they doing the tithings, that's just wicked, and that's how you know that that's not the true church of the Lord. They stuck in a religion, they stuck in a doctrine. Even if the guy is a part of, you see, he a part of some sort of potential militia group, and he's still saying that he defended the gospel, he defended the Lord, he defended the ways that God would have it done. It's still not of Yahweh, it's still not of the Lord. They all trapped in this wicked ass loop, successfully blinded. You know what I'm saying? And those prophets, those pastors, they ain't gonna get away. I had a dream that I was on a chariot, you know what I'm saying? And I was inside of a chariot, and all the angels, they was wearing black hoodies, they had black wings, and it was a gang of them. And they had one of the false preachers, you know what I'm saying? And the false preacher, he was so scared, and he was so shocked, and he was paralyzed in fear that he couldn't believe what was happening to him. So Yahweh Shai, and I seen him in a dream, Yahweh Shai, I seen the bottom part of him, like his chest and all that. I didn't see his face because it was very terrifying. But as far as I'm concerned, they took him and they put him in a tube, and then the tube had a big ass flame of fire to fly through it, and the pastor was being burned alive. He's being burned alive in front of my face. And then the angels, they tunics had changed, and they had changed form. And Yahweh Shai, he had the breastplate of the 12 tribes of Israel, the stones on him. And then before I could look up at his face, and his face was about to become like terrifying, I woke up out of the dream. You know what I'm saying? And it was funny because I was watching this movie called Good Pastures. I think that was called Good Pastures. And there was the only movie where they actually had Yahweh Shai in, and it was an old black and white movie. And it showed Yahweh Shai, it showed the angels in heaven, and it showed what heaven really looked like. You know what I'm saying? And it showed the the flood and all that, how it was nothing but black folks and it wasn't no white people. And it showed the truth. But that was the only movie to ever have him on there. The other movie was Evan Almighty with Morgan Freeman. You know what I'm saying? That they described the Christ being white. In comparison, that's not what he looked like, but those was the characteristics that he had, because they was following on Revelation. You know what I'm saying? And Revelation is telling the truth about what Yahweh looked like, and we can get to that too, because they are fighting over some white man, so you always go to edify. We'll go back to Revelations. Go back. Hi, y'all. Bam. Revelations chapter 1, verse 10. It says, I was in the spirit on Yahweh's day, and I heard behind me a loud voice of a trumpet, saying, I am Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last. And what you see, write in a book, and send it to the 7 churches which are in Asia, to Ephesus, to Smyrna, to Pergamos, to Thyatira, to Sardis, to Philadelphia, and to Laodicea. Meaning that the 7 churches in Asia, they were Israelites, but they looked like Asians, but they were actually Israelites. They were actually dark-skinned people that were, slaves to Asia, and they people, you know what I'm saying? The people that were in slavery to, to the Asians, they were dark-skinned Israelites. They were not white. They were dark-skinned. So it says, then I turned to see the voice that spoke with me, and having turned, I saw 7 golden lampstands. That's the children of Israel. And in the 7 lampstands, one like the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the feet, and girded about the chest with a golden band. His head and his hair were white like wool, and his eyes were white as snow, and his eyes like a flame of fire. His feet were like fine brass, as if refined in a furnace, and his voice was as the sound of many waters. His feet was refined brass. It says fine brass, meaning that he was brown, as refined in a furnace, meaning that he was dark-skinned. He was dark-skinned. He had in his right hand 7 stars. Out of his mouth went a 2-edged sword. He was the Word. Yahweh Shai is the Word. and his countenance was like the sun shining in its strength. Exactly. And that is Yahweh Shai's true depiction of his color and how he is a dark-skinned man. He is not a white man. He is a black man, as what they would call it, and everybody knows that. Even the prophets know, even the wicked-ass teachers know it, but they don't teach it. You know, the teachers in them fake churches and them temples, you know what I'm saying? And they don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? Oh, here's another one. This is a good one too, and I just turned to this by random. It says, this is Isaiah chapter 41, which is my favorite chapter. That's why you see a lot of it dingy, because I usually quote it out of this one because I like this chapter. It says, the poor and needy seek water, but there is none. There is no truth. It says, their tongues fail from thirst. It says, I, Yahweh, will hear them. I, Yahweh of Israel, will not forsake them. I will open rivers and desolate heights and fountains in the midst of the valleys. I will make the wilderness a pool of water. So this is talking about America, because America is the wilderness. America is the desolate river, the desolate heights. You know what I'm saying? So there is no truth. There is no the true name of the Lord. There's no truth about the Bible. There's no edification until, you know, Alba Bibbins came and One West and Great Millstone came out, you know, and they've been preaching the word for like 80 years, you know, 70 to 80 years now. And that's in New York. So it says, and the dry springs of water, that's the prophets on the highways and byways, they got that good water. It says, I will plant in the wilderness the cedar and the acacia tree, the myrtle and the oil tree. I will set in the desert the cypress tree and the pine and the box tree together, that they may see and know and consider and understand together. Meaning that the elect, we understand. You know what I'm saying? The 2/3, they can understand, but they choose not to. That the hand of Yahweh has done this, and the Holy One of Israel has created it. It says, present your case, says Yahweh. Bring forth your strong reasons, says the King of Jacob. Not everybody else, the King of Jacob. Let them bring forth and show us what will happen. Let them show the former things what they were, that we may consider them, and know the latter end of them, or declare to us things to come. Show the things that are to come hereafter. So we know the beginning, we know the end, that we may know that you are gods. Exactly, because the children of Israel are gods. They just smaller versions of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai in the name of Yahushai. They the smaller versions of the Lord. Yes, do good or do evil, that we may be dismayed and see it together. Indeed, you are nothing, and your work is nothing. He who chooses you chooses an abomination. He talking to that white man. Because the Lord know his children. You know what I'm saying? It says, and know the latter end of them, or declare to us the things to come. Show us the things that are to come hereafter. It says that we may know that you are God. So the real gods are the children of Israel. These fake gods are the wannabe white people. You know what I'm saying? The Zeus, and I'm getting tired of seeing them stupid video games. They keep making the video games after they false gods, pushing the false god narrative, like Anubis, like what's his name, Azura, and China. You know what I'm saying? Like fucking Zeus. You know, fucking Poseidon. Medusa. These are fake gods. They never existed. They don't exist. They just statues and fucking made up ass stories, man. The real gods are the children of Israel, and their father is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and only begotten son Yahweh Shai, and then there's the children of Israel, man. Those are the only gods that you know about, man. That's it. Everything else is just made up. They were jealous of Yahweh, so they made many gods. They were jealous of the Lord, that he made other gods through the power and spirit of Yahweh Shai, his son, and the angels. They made other gods, so they made up their own gods. You know, they made up different stories in heaven with these wicked fake doctrines and these false books, like the Gigas Codex, or the book of Adam and Eve. Pseudepigrapha books like the Muslim Bible, you know what I'm saying? What's that fucking called? The Muslim Bible, the Quran, you know what I'm saying? Fake ass books. That's a rip-off version of the Bible. The Indian Bible, you know what I'm saying? Wicked ass books like the Kama Sutra, you know, it's a lot of fake ass books out there that'll get you, you know, lost, man. Just twisted and just into other things that you shouldn't be into. And it says, I have raised up one from the north, and he shall come from the rising of the sun. He shall call on my name, and he shall come against princes as though mortar, as the potter treads the clay, who has declared from the beginning that we may know, and former times that we may say he is righteous. Surely there is no one who knows. Surely there is no one who declares. Surely there is no one who hears your words. The first time I said to Zion, look, there they are, and I will give to Jerusalem one who brings good tidings. For I looked, and there was no man. I looked among them, but there was no counselor, who, when I asked of them, could answer a word. Meaning that, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know a lot about the white people. Y'all know about the money. Y'all know about the bread. You know about the jobs. You know about all that. But do you know about the word of Yahweh? Do you know who Yahweh is? Do you know his true name, which is Yahweh Hashem Shai, his only begotten son, Yahweh Shai? Do you know these things? Can you understand the Bible? Do you know what's going on today? Do you know what happened to you in the past? Do you know about the world? Do you know about, you know what I'm saying, the wickedness that's coming upon this place? Do you know about the latter end? Do you know these things? Okay? That's exactly what the Lord is telling you. So we're going to go to another up-to-date thing about what's happening, because when you know the Bible, you got to know the things that's happening in the world too. And you see that it said for 2 to 3 years, the supply chain system has been breaking down and people didn't give a fuck. Nobody cared. But, oh, when the food and stuff started vanishing, now you're paying attention. You should have been focused on this years ago. This was all into play a long time ago. And all the more to add on that this white nigga is the father of lies. He wants you to look all directions, but instead of looking directly at him. Oh, I didn't do it. Ukraine did it. Oh, I didn't do it. Russia did it. Oh, that's not what's going on. I didn't snip all your food. I didn't shorten all your food. It's everything that's happening in China. You know what I'm saying? Instead of looking at this retarded nigga that is sitting there lying to your face and it's all his fucking fault. The white man did all this, but this nigga got a big ass fat book of lies and any excuse out of the book that he's gonna use against you to get you to believe him, you know? Instead of looking at him, he got all this blood and everything on his hands, but he can pull out all these excuses, and the people is like, oh, okay, he just, you know what I'm saying, doing what he doing. You know, maybe it's not his fault. Maybe it's just what's going on in the world. He ain't got nothing to do with it. And these motherfuckers is coming up with every single excuse, pulling out numbers, big ass numbers, corporations you ain't never heard of, shit that really don't matter. These motherfuckers sit up here just lying to your face when it's their fault. When I say the white men, I say all of them, not just one, all of them. But they can lie to your face and tell you that they didn't do shit. Well, that sucks. There you have it. As you can see, they are hell bent on not giving you no more food, no more water, no more nothing. They don't want to support this place. They want this place to crash so they can issue in the new world order. May 22nd is about to come out to where they change the laws forever. They want to get rid of the Constitution. They want to get rid of your human rights. They want to replace it with what they seem and deem fit. And they want to change the world into their own image. They want to play God again. It's happening again. This ain't nothing new, you know what I'm saying? But this time it's going to be really bad because they want to chip your ass. They want to have you, you know what I'm saying, denounce the Most High, denounce Yahweh Shem Yahushua, the name Yahushua for those of us that believe. And they want us to join with the beast, only just to be destroyed in the end, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I got one more verse for that, and it says, because the Most High got our back, this is Isaiah chapter 41, verse 10. It says, "Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. Yes, I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Behold, all those who were incensed against you shall be ashamed and disgraced. They shall be as nothing, and those who strive with you shall perish. You shall seek them and not find them. Those who contend with you, those who war against you, shall be as nothing, as a non-existent thing. For I, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, your God, will hold your right hand, saying to you, Fear not, fear not, I will help you. Fear not, you worm Jacob, you men of Israel, I will help you, says Yahweh, and your Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. Behold, I will make you into a new threshing sledge with sharp teeth. You shall thresh the mountains and beat them small, and make the hills like chaff. You shall winnow them. The wind shall carry them away, and the whirlwind shall scatter them. You shall rejoice in Yahweh, and in the glory of the Holy One of Israel." Exactly. Meaning that some of us men is going to get spiritual power. Some of us is going to get super strength. And it sounds far-fetched, but it is true. I believe it, you know what I'm saying? But to you who are feeble-minded, it sounds far-fetched, like it's not going to happen. Like you're not going to see Israelite men flying in the air. You're not going to see Israelite men bringing down buildings. You're not going to see Israelite men killing huge amounts of Edomites and people who don't believe, but you're going to see it. You know, everything, you got to consider everything around you. You know what I'm saying? So the universe is just BS. The universe is just crazy, huh? To have gigantic planets and gigantic, you know, solar systems or whatever you want to call it, have numerous amount of stars, that's just crazy for you. Like the sun doesn't burn bright, and it can go to 1,000 to 1,000,000 to 1,000,000,000 degrees, and it's never been put out. It's never stopped. It's eternal. It's forever. You know what I'm saying? And or the moon, you know what I'm saying? The moon is just not there. The moon is just not real. It can't change phases. That's just insane. That's just crazy. That's how blind our people are. They forget the things that are around them. Can you count the dust on the earth? There's plenty of dust particles. You know what I'm saying? Can you count the water in the, the water molecules in the sea? You know what I'm saying? You know what's under the ground, you know you're sitting on a functioning living planet. It's just as much as alive as we are, but that's far-fetched. That's too crazy for you. It's not crazy for me. I believe. I know Yahweh Shem Yahushua, the name Yahushua, and I know the things that are created, and I believe that if I'm good and I do the right thing, that he'll give me spiritual power. He's going to give the rest of the men spiritual power. And if I don't have spiritual power, it'll just be a blessing just to live and survive these days. And with that, calling Yahweh Shem Yahushua, B'Hashem Rakakwadash, in the name Yahushua, Shalom, 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 and see you on the next video.